Good evening and welcome to the Melbourne ATV net. I'm Neil, VK3BCU, and the net's held every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Stations that have checked in this evening via RF: Richard VK3VRS, Mark VK3PI, Fred VK3ZAQ, Steve VK3TTF and James VK3HB. And I see there are about 10 on Ian's YouTube feed, and Ian can let you know who they are when he comes up very shortly. So first up will be Ian, VK3QL, followed by Mick VK3CH, and then Mick, if you could put it straight back to me. Now you can watch this net through VK3RTV via a set-top box and a vertically polarised UHF beam. That's the way we like you to do it. Otherwise you can watch it on Ian's YouTube feed or Richard VK3VRS's YouTube and Discord feed. Also the BATC feed is also running at the moment, so there's no excuse not to watch the net. There's also no excuse to not come up on a video. We're really looking for people to have video presentations. So Ian, if you're ready to go, I'm on T, so it'll be a rough cut over, and then if you could put it across to Mick and then back to me. So take it away, Ian.
Great, thanks Neil. Great to be back this evening, and I don't know why that came up. It's reinforcing how many nets. I've had to make a very last minute, I sort of realised by about 6:15 I was cutting over to a new preset, and it wasn't going well, so I had to roll back. And as everyone knows, rollbacks can be fraught with difficulty, but anyway, we'll play along and make the mistake bingo as we go. All right, looks like another short net this evening, which is unfortunate, but anyway, that's the way the cookie crumbles. But if you can come up, that'd be great. Helps Neil. It certainly helps the net controller. It's a bit hard to run a net with limited numbers, but thanks for those who do come up. It's great. All right, the first cab off the rank is Simon, the pioneer, if you like, of writing software for DATV, receiving and transmission, all in the one package. And at the end of this clip, I might just go through some of the specs that I've identified in that package, and Simon's going to outline his plans for what he calls the fourth beta, I think he's talking about, and which is sort of version 1, and he's planning on a major revision early next year, but at this stage he's just stabilising and sorting out a few things, which he describes in very good detail, and it's a great clip to cover the challenges of writing software in this area, and there'll be a question on the exam paper at the end of the year. So you should listen intently, and I'll expect all of you to pass that question. All right, without any further ado, without me rabbiting on too much, here is Simon.
Regarding Beta 4, yes, I spied a mistake in the constellation. You often see the constellation while you're receiving. Well, there are various gain factors and things, and I had one out a bit. That did help. And also changing the LDPC, part of the forward error correction, the low density parity check. I changed the algorithm at the recommendation of the guy who actually wrote it, Amit, and I do believe it's made a difference. I've also been working on tuning my dish together with Mike MJW, who won't be on this evening, and so I've got that working better, and been through the logic and the sums involved in comparing the signals he receives with his 2.4 meter dish and my 1.4 meter dish. And very grateful to Mike. He knows the theory. I suppose I ought to know it, but it's been so long since I did any proper mathematics. Anyway, so I got things running quite nicely. I'm quite sure I can get better receive, and I'll explain why. When we transmit, there's something called bandpass shaping. The filters are not square. When you look at signals, they're not square like that. They're curved at the top, and that's the bandpass shaping, and uses a roll-off value, and there's no way of knowing what the roll-off value is that people may have selected. The recommended are 0.25 or 0.2, but so what I'm going to experiment with once I get my computer back from overclockers is actually running a group of matched filters on the receive side. I should say that whatever shape you transmit, your receive filter should match it. But of course, there can be distortion in your transmitter, your Pluto or your line. So I'm probably going to try running, say, 5 different receive filters and picking the output from the one which has got the most power in it. So that's what I've been up to. And as I am without development machine, which is actually rather fantastic. Everything is backed up to the cloud and other disks. I've been up in the attic where I have 11 years supply of cardboard boxes. I've always put them up in the attic with lots of other stuff, so I have an unholy amount of cardboard up there, and I'm working on getting all that down.
So if we look at the specifications for SDR television, we have some of the key specifications as the supported hardware. It is described there. The Pluto is the primary target, but Lime SDR and some of the copies of the I don't know if the Libra SDR is a copy of I think it's a copy of the Pluto, but I could be wrong. If you want to just receive only, then those two devices there. Video and audio codec supported is 265 and 264, and AAC audio modulation or codec. The modulation standard at this stage is DVB-S2. All FEC rates are supported, and symbol rates, which is perhaps the area of interest for us, is 66 up to 2 mega symbols. The repeater runs at 4 mega symbol input, so it's not suitable for us onto the repeater, but certainly has other very useful applications. So the system to operate it, the SDR television system on a Windows machine. You can use any operating system you like as long as it's Windows 10 or 11, 64-bit. The minimum dual core requirements are there as 8-core CPU preferred. You need enough RAM in your machine, but if you're running OBS or vMix satisfactorily, then you should have a machine capable of supporting transmit and receive using this software. It's primarily used for in Europe or particularly in the UK, DATV. For the feed into the QO100 stationary satellite. It also is being used for narrowband DX, which is where we could perhaps use it satisfactorily. It's a very simple, lightweight, if you're prepared to carry a Windows laptop perhaps, and just an SDR transceiver and a PA and an antenna, of course. DVB-T support is anticipated in future releases, but not promised. Loopback testing for testing transmissions without external hardware is also possible. If you want to find out more, this is an excellent video by Matt of TechMind's YouTube channel. Great first look at this software, and yeah, do recommend you have it. Check it out. Great. Ooh, I'm on an angle. Well, and also off screen. So that's the story there. The next cab off the rank is ISS passes. There's a good collection of nearly, well, at least of the order of 5 passes, very good passes during the next week. So it's, with this windy weather, with a vertical sitting on the roof and you sitting warmly in the side, you could check out the passes of ISS, both for the voice repeater and for the packet, which is back on online.
Let's have a look at the International Space Station passes for Melbourne over the next week.
Yeah, VK4EM, VK3MQ.
Roger, Roger, Rob. Good 7, good 5x7 here. Good to hear you. 73s.
73s, Merv.
Yeah, VK3MQ. Good afternoon, Rob. VK3EJ.
Yeah, VK3EJ, VK3MQ. Good on you, Damien. Nice to work you again. We don't often chat, do we? Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers, 73s.
Echo, Mexico.
Yeah, VK.
I mentioned the exam at the end of the year. Well, the SDR television software question might well be, what's the recommended setting for the bandpass, what is it? Bandpass sloping roll-off factor for DVB-T, no, DVB-S, DVB signals. Shaping, aha, bandpass shaping. Can't read my own writing. I hope I'll get it correct when I write the exam question. All right, and talking about exam questions, here's a quiz. Right, that's the weather forecast for the next 5 days. And if we have a look at the tropospheric chart for the next week, we find it's pretty boring. So I thought, I thought I'd just show that to you as in the heart of winter, down south east corner of Australia. It's not real flash. So the calendar for the next few weeks, we have Saturday the 19th of July, 10 till 2, the ATV meet and greet at the Amateur Radio Victoria Ashburton rooms. So that'll be a great turnout. If you've got a vague interest or a very interested or an operator, by all means come along and share your knowledge and ask the questions, the hard questions. And there'll be short demonstrations, nothing formal. It's sort of as it comes, but you know, there's an opportunity to meet and greet. 30th of August, end of next month, is the ATV QSO party, which is the last weekend of August. It's usually runs from it starts at 10 a.m. through to 10 p.m, but there is usually a break around about 2:30 to 7 for people to do their domestic chores on the Saturday. So that's something to organise. If you can transmit into the repeater, or even if you can't, contact Peter Cousins and by email, and he'll discuss what options are available to be involved in the QSO party. Good. And of course, we've got this occurring every Friday night at 10 o'clock on ATV channel 1. Says he, not pushing.
For live news on the planets, cosmology, sunspots and more, every Friday at 10 p.m. Clint VK3 CSJ presents the Astronomical Society of Victoria broadcast on this amateur television repeater, VK3 RTV Channel 1.
Right, and the hard quiz is the next one, a bit more difficult questions. Right, I'll say good evening to you and pass the baton on to Mick, VK3CH in Doncaster. There'll be a slight drop or pause in transmissions as we cut across to another station. Here's Lucy saying good night.
Okay, there we are. Took a bit longer than expected, but there you go. Things seem to differ, but at least we're getting in on RF, so that's very good. G'day everyone. Why is there a mouse on me? We'll get rid of that. Doesn't normally do that. Not quite sure how that happened. All right. Okay, good everyone. Mick from Doncaster. Now, most of you, like the Melbourne guys that have on the ATV mailing list that Peter has, I've put out the newsletter I write for the Nevark Club up in Albury-Wodonga, or the Wodonga side. We're only doing it every 2 months now because I keep begging for articles, but it seems like I'm about the only one producing them. Surely people are doing stuff with ham radio. They're just too lazy with a pen or a keyboard to tell me stuff. So most of you should have got that today. What else have we done? We weren't here last week on the XYL side. She's had a couple of funerals. One was an aunt, and then about 2 weeks later, roughly, was the funeral for her father. Both of them, the aunt I think was 90 and the father was 95, so not unexpected, but you know, it still bites when it happens. So yep, bit of a rough time for her at the moment, so there you go. But no, it sort of was expected. At least she had the time and the rest of the family to get up to there to say their last words with him, and anything you wanted to say and all the rest of it, as opposed to a lot of people where, you know, they mightn't get that chance, or, you know, sort of sudden or whatever. So, you know, you try to put the best spin on things, but yep, what can you do? All right, on to other news. This Sunday, the MAD Microwave Activity Day is scheduled, but the weather's looking a bit, yeah, touch and go, especially up King Lake where I would usually go, so I probably won't be able to make a decision until maybe Friday, because it would be Saturday to recharge the battery and drag that to the car, but everything else is mounted inside. So if it's going to be windy or sort of, you know, grungy weather, I might skip it. We can only make that judgment the last minute. Speaking of the car setup, with the ATV show at Ashburton on the 19th, I've mentioned to John that I could have the stuff in my car displayed, set up, and actually powered up, so people want to sort of have a look at it. That'd involve walking outside, of course, so we could sort of make a particular time, and or people could file out maybe 5 at a time or whatever, so it's not too much of a crowd, so you can have a bit of a look and ask questions. So we can sort that closer to the event. Once again, the other caveat, if on the day that the weather isn't yucky, if it's howling rain or whatever, well, probably wouldn't happen. We won't know till further in. Although I have written a lot of it in the magazine, so it's pretty well covered anyway. But I suppose it's one thing to read something, another thing to see it in the flesh and standing in front of it. So there you go. What other news have I got? That's probably about it, really. So we'll make the decision this Sunday about what we'll do. The battery is reasonably charged, but I'll have a look at it Friday just to check that it's fully up with it all. With the motorbike battery, can I pick it up? Okay. Oh. Okay, that's it. So, that's whatever they weigh. Well, they weigh certainly lighter than a lead acid battery. In the early days, there was one time where I deliberately went out for a few hours up at King Lake, and when I finished, I didn't recharge the battery at all, like I left it, and I found that I got 3 goes of about 2 to 3 hours of transmitting, and the quiescent current when the radios are running, and by about the 3rd time it failed halfway, so I had to switch over to the car battery momentarily to finish a few QSOs. So that was just as a test. So but yeah, usually I will charge it every time before I go out. So but yeah, so let's say 2.5 hours, so 2 lots, it's 5 hours. So you probably get about 7 hours, unless you're talking a heck of a lot, but usually, you're listening a fair bit for people, and then just having your quick QSOs and sideband, isn't as tough as, constant FM or television, constant carrier when you're sending television. So there you go. Well, that's about all I've got. So I believe I'm handing it back to Neil. So Neil, I'm on T, however that affects you. So should be around for next weekend as well. Not sure. We'll let you know closer to the day. So cheerio all, and cheers from Mick.
Right, thanks Mick. The beauty of running T as well as you are. Very quick changeover. Now most of the ATV guys, or a lot of them, are microwavers as well, and as Mick said, there's a mad day coming up on the weekend. Let's hope the weather holds up. But talking about microwaves, there's a new repeater, FM repeater on Mount Macedon. It's on, output is 1296.975. 1296.975. I'm sure Nick knows all about that. I think he had something to do with it. And that's linked to the Ballarat repeater, which is on 1296.925. Now the 2 repeaters are linked, so it's, I think, 3 RBA in Ballarat, and I'm assuming it's 3 RMM in at Mount Macedon, and I have been on the repeater today and it's working very well. So the 2 repeaters are linked, so that's for the microwave guys. Also, Andrew VK3FS has been testing a new beacon on 1296. He was up earlier today doing some tests, and very shortly it'll be going up to the site where it'll be on permanently, and it's GPS locked, and it's on 1296.432. I think that's right, 1296.432 for memory. So Andrew's been testing that microwave beacon, and there'll be a very good addition to testing the conditions on 1296. And talking about 1296, there has been a little bit of activity there, certainly down to Tassie just the last few days, and there's a few stations that come up some evenings on 1296 sidebands, so that's for the microwave guys. Now, just changing subjects, if I can bring that up. I got my licence at 16 from memory, a long time ago, and after building many valve transmitters and receivers using 807s and 6v6s, 6 L6s, I eventually bought an FT101. Now these aren't the original units, but for nostalgia I purchased these two units fairly recently. I purchased the FT101B over 50 years ago when I actually imported it myself from Hong Kong. It took about 6 months to come on the boat. I thought it would never arrive. And the second commercial rig I ever bought was the Kenwood 520 there. And also imported that directly from Hong Kong, which was a big feat 50 years ago. Had to go through Bond store and everything. So I just thought I'd mention that. That sits on my speaker, on my stereo speakers in the lounge room, just to look at. So a bit of nostalgia there. So for the people that are my age, they probably recognise those transceivers. I'm sure Clint and Dennis both would recognise those radios. In fact, I'm sure Clint would have something to say about that. I'm not going to get a collection like yours, Clint. That's all I'm doing. I'm not doing any more. So anyway, so it's across to Clint now. I see he's actually up there. He's on here. I can see him on RTV1. So please, everyone, switch across to RTV1 right now and wait for Clint. Come up, Clint.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Looks like I'm on. Right. This is, for those that are watching, I haven't switched the repeater over, so I'm looking at a blank screen at the moment because I was on RTV, I'm on RTV2. That's because I'm holding this one. This is one of my special blacks. I've got 2 blacks. And this is Samantha, Sam, and she's probably about 18 months old, I suppose, just a little kitty, or growing up very, very quick. But she's got beautiful fur. It's absolutely silky soft fur, and I love her. She's a cutie. She's a cutie. Go on. I haven't fed them yet, and I haven't fed myself yet. So the cats have got to be fed first, and then me. That's usually the way it goes. Anyway, good evening, everyone. I've been fighting with my mixer. I'll just drop that level, 1, 2, 3. I think that's a bit better. My Behringer mixer. When I called in before, Neil, I'm glad you actually went from RTV to RTV. I had every intention of coming up first, I thought, but I'm glad you gave me that bit of delay because everything was turned off. And I thought it'd be just a matter of flicking things on, but for some reason the Behringer mixer here, I had the headphones on, and I'm thinking, why is the audio got this millisecond delay in it? I could hear this millisecond delay, and I'm pushing buttons all over the place, and it's still got it, but I've had to do a trick to try and make sure that the audio to the repeater was okay, and I think it is. So, but I tell you, a mixer is a pain sometimes. Anyway, this is only a short over, so we'll see you all next week. No. Yes, I when you picked up that battery, Mick, I thought, how can you do that with one hand? I saw this massive battery you were picking up. You bent over, and you picked up this battery with one hand. And I thought, well, you've got either a very strong hand or something else. But then you very quickly indicated that it wasn't a normal lead cell type battery. So I thought, okay, all right, fair enough. I guess it's just a plastic case. No. Anyway, yeah, understand. All right, just 2 things I want to show. Last Tuesday, I made mention, basically thanking Peter about getting 1246 sorted out from the DVB-T input. So we're on DVB-T now, and it's only, as I pointed out last week, it's just a watt that I'm running, and it's almost full signal in. So it's still holding good. In fact, I should, while I've put the cat down, I should just change channels to me, so I can see that I am there. Oh, yes, there I am. Anyway, the DVB-S standard definition transmitter that I've got In the previous setup, before I got vMix going, the system here was all wired up with S-Video configuration because for those that have mucked around with composite video connections and RCA type video connections and all that analog stuff, might be aware that S-Video is just that slightly a bit better than composite video in the sense of using the standard RCA input type arrangement. I've got a cat on my nose. So everything I had prior to going digital, I had analog mixers and big bulky mixers. Panasonic, a Panasonic MX50, I think it's called. It's upstairs or it's somewhere. No, yeah, it's upstairs. And anyway, everything was S-Video connections because it handled. You'd be able to get on normal composite video, you get a crosshatch on the edge of objects, and certain colours would stand out. But S-Video cleans that all up. So anyway, apart from all that, the old S-Video transmitter, standard def transmitter, has no facility for being able to connect HDMI to it. So probably around about the same time that Neil went out and bought his HDMI to S-Video converter, I did the same thing, just in case the DVB-T transmitter or something, from the high definition side of things falls over again. So this little converter arrived from Germany just the other day. As you can see, I haven't even taken it out of its plastic bag yet, but there it is. HDMI to, if it's going to focus, it's not going to focus when you want it to focus. There we are. HDMI to composite S-Video converter, and you can see the S-Video connection there. This is lousy TV when you do stuff like this. Anyway, I think you can tell that there's an S-Video connection in there, and the HDMI connection on the side there as well. So there she blows, and the S-Video side. Anyway, so that's come through. And if it works, it's come from Germany, so it should work. I forget where I got that off, what crowd. Anyway, nevertheless, it arrived. So I'll incorporate that into the standard definition transmitter, which will probably never be used again. But anyway, it's there for standby. And at least I can run the HDMI from the computer into this, and that can go straight into the S-Video, the DVB-S standard transmitter. So that gets sorted out, because everything on this side of the transmitter is all digital. It's all everything's HDMI. The two cameras I've got here are HDMI, and it makes interconnecting so much better. And of course, it's all HD. So I just wish I could get my SR S2 transmitter up and running. There's a lot of money went into that, but it got many years of use out of it. Anyway, that's another thing. Now, the other thing I want to show you, non-radio, for a long time, man has been trying to search for the Ark of the Covenant, and we all know Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones in the Lost Ark, and I thought, does that really exist? I mean, honestly, does the Lost Ark really exist, or is it just a myth in some book? Well, I have found it. I have actually found the Ark of the Covenant, and here it is. Look at this beauty. This is amazing. It's all gold, and it is producing millions of volts across these two wings here. But there it is, as dangerous as it is. There it even says the Ark of the Covenant. And, and I thought, I've got to have me one of these. So it is quite weighty. It's probably a 3 or 4 kilograms in that. But unfortunately, it's empty. There's there's no Moses' 10 Commandments in it. So it's a little fake, I believe. I think I've been had. But nevertheless, ever since I watched Indiana Jones trying to find the Ark of the Covenant, I thought, I've got to get one. So there it is. It finally, they do make them. It's off that TEMU website, something like that. And they make them, this is the larger model, so my hand reference, and they make smaller ones. But it's you know, it's metal, it's not plastic, but there's no real voltage here. I just made that up. So the Ark of the Covenant. I have one which sits on my movie mantelpiece with all my DVDs. I thought I'd just show you that. I think there's something in that for all of us. All right. On that note, Ian, I'm not sure what microphone you're using, but it sounds like you're using a lapel microphone. But every time you move, all we hear is rub, 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 and cotton, like you're sitting on your microphone. So I think usually you're using the microphone with the orange foam bit, but you might not be using that tonight. I don't know, but you're using some other microphone that's it sounds like a lapel mic, and it's a little bit noisy. Just thought I'd let you know that. Anyway, all right, that's all I've got to show, ladies and gentlemen, and it's good to see that the BATC streamer is working again. I can now plug that on Friday nights, so there it is. I think that's it. Okay, we'll put it back to you there, Ian. So everybody have a lovely weekend, stay warm, and we'll catch you all perhaps next Tuesday. VK3PCU, VK3CSJ, go ahead, Neil, it's over to you, dear sir.
Okay, yeah, thanks to Clint. Ark of the Covenant, amazing stuff. I'm not sure whether you're talking about me with the lapel mic, or Ian, you said Ian, but my lapel mic is just in there somewhere.
Thank you, Ian.
Lee? Anyway, it's in there somewhere.
Thank you, Neil.
It's hidden in there. Okay. I'd like to acknowledge all the stations that have come up on Ian's YouTube feed. There's quite a few. I won't name you all, but I acknowledge you're all there. And I know who you all are, so that's great. And there's currently 17 watching. So the Ark of the Covenant, that really amazing stuff. I don't know what to say. Okay, thanks for watching, everyone. It's been great. Hopefully more stations will be up by next week to transmit, and that'll bring in the people watching as well. So the more people that transmit, I'm sure it'll increase our numbers of the people watching. So take care, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.